My name is Corinna and I went to Ireland and I stayed in the West and I worked as a language assistant at school. I took part in the Pädagogischer Austauschdienst language program. It's a teaching assistant program, and I went to school and basically taught German and was in the German classroom. I usually had a 4-day week, so I had Mondays off and my weekend was from Friday to Monday. And then I went to school from Tuesday to Friday and usually started work at around 10. So schools in Ireland start at 9 and I also had to come in at 10. And then I usually worked in the German classes, and my students were aged between 12 and 18. So with the younger students, I usually stayed in the class with my mentor, with the German teacher, and we taught together. And with the older students, I usually went out in small groups and we worked on different topics because they had to prepare for the oral exam. So for the Leaving Cert, which is the A-levels. I think my English improved because I basically spoke English all the time. So of course I had to speak English to the people around me, to my flatmates, and also to the other assistants, but then of course also to my students because their level of German was average, like not so high, so of course I was talking a lot in English as well. The program is really cool because students from Spain, France, Germany and Italy come to Ireland, and they are sent all over Ireland and do the teaching assistant job. So the French girl and me, we got in touch and then we decided to move in together with an Irish guy. So I had a flat with 2 other people and they were of course my first friends. And then I would also go out with some colleagues, like the staff was really nice in school. And then I met, Ireland is just, people are really outgoing. So I just went to the pub, met people, and we would meet again and become my friends. And also there are regular meetings in Dublin where all the assistants from Ireland met up. So that's where I found friends as well. And we usually traveled every weekend together. Ireland is like a super beautiful country, so it's beautiful everywhere really, but my favorite spot is Achill Island, which is all the way up in the west. It's not far from where I stayed, and it's an island and it's really rough and wild, and we often went there and it's just super beautiful. So if you ever go to Ireland, definitely go to Achill Island. To be honest, I didn't know a lot about Ireland before I went. So there are a lot of things I learned, of course, just in everyday life. It's small things, like when you're driving the car in the West and you're on the country road, you always wave, even to strangers. And there are different rules, like on how many fingers you show, and that shows like how good you know the other person. And then you always talk about the weather, and you're not supposed to say it's like not over the top. And it's just like small things you learn about the people. It's really cool. Irish people in general are really funny, so there are a lot of hilarious moments, of course, that I had. One thing I found especially funny was in school. So in Ireland, students usually if you call you, like a woman, a female teacher, they would say, "Excuse me, miss." So at one time I was teaching in my class and I was facing the blackboard, and then one student was, "Excuse me, miss," and I didn't react because I didn't hear her. And at some point she got desperate and she was like, "Entschuldigung, Frau." And I turned around and I was like, "Excuse me, did you just call me woman?" And then of course I explained to her that in German you can't just say "Entschuldigung, Frau." And well, they got it at that moment, but after a while more and more students started to say "Guten Tag, Frau" and "Guten Morgen, Frau," and at some point I just stopped because, well, it's cute. So I was like, okay. My advice for other students would be to take their time and maybe consider staying longer than just the 12 weeks, because I feel it takes some time to finally arrive, like really arrive in a country, in a new culture, to get to know everything, to get to know people. So I love that I really stayed for a year and had the chance to get to know everything and to feel like home.